I was shooting so much coke that I was going into these crazy psychosis hours until I would pass out. I would shoot enough heroin to finally pass out. And then I would wake up and do it all over again. And I was so paranoid, and I thought these midget FBI agents were like following me. And
I hate the midget FBI guys. They're very smart and clever. How great is it to be sober, brother?
The greatest gift I ever gave myself. I was getting arrested for home invasion robberies. I was getting arrested for, possessions and all sorts of crazy shit. I was homeless, panhandling. And then within a year of that, I was fighting in the UFC at the highest level of MMA.
Welcome back to the Seano Show. I'm your host, Seano McFarlane. Today we have a absolute warrior in the house. Straight up. He's a UFC lightweight who's fought some of the toughest guys in the division. But his biggest fight hasn't just been inside the cage, it's been outside of it too. He's battled addiction, overcome personal demons, and turned his life around to become an inspiration to so many people. He's a new friend, but he feels like an old friend because he speaks my love language, which is, how can I fucking help, man? It's my absolute pleasure to welcome Jared Flash Gordon to the show. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, Seano. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. You're in New York City right now, right?
No, so I'm from Queens, New York, but I live in South Florida in Delray Beach.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, okay, you're Delray.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
Sober living capital of the world.
Yeah, it was coincidental. I didn't come down here to get sober. My wife was just living here. And, it's warm and sunny. It's nicer than Queens. So I was like, I'll move to Florida. And there's good training here, so it just made sense.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're definitely talking about your wife because she's a fucking badass. We're going to get into that. Can we just start? How great is it to be sober, brother?
The greatest gift I ever gave myself.
Right?
That's for sure.
You've been to so many treatment centers, homeless shelters. Walk a little bit to that final moment where you literally tapped out and said, I'm done. I'm out, which I think was 9 years ago, right?
Correct. I mean, just like everyone else, it all started when I was a young boy. And, the root of all my problems obviously stems from trauma. All my addictions, all the ways I acted out, my anger, my resentments, my whatever you want to call it, was all from trauma that, I saw or was abused by when I was a kid. And I think I mentioned this too. I was sexually assaulted when I was a young boy by another man. And that was
how old were you? How old were you when that happened?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old, right?
Yeah, full on sexual assault. And obviously right then and there, it changed me. That was like the pivotal moment of my life. I was only 8 years old, but shortly after that, I turned 9, like a month or two later, and I started smoking pot and, stealing beers from my parents, stealing my dad's cigarettes, going into the woods behind people's houses, smoking cigarettes. And shortly after that, I moved to Queens, where I spent the most of the remainder of my life. And from then on, it was all about consuming drugs and just wanting to feel something different. And for me, I liked pot, I liked alcohol, I liked, benzos, loved cocaine, found opiates when I was a little older, fell in love with opiates, became my, drug of choice. And then eventually, first it started with regular, not really a unique opiate story. Started with Percocets and Vicodins, found Oxy, Dilaudid, all the pain meds, oxymorphone, whatever. And eventually led me to heroin, IV heroin, And then IV, coke, and crack, heroin. Tried meth a few times. Didn't really love it. Plus, being where I was from in New York, it wasn't like a big thing. But loved IV cocaine and heroin. Um, that's how I met my bottom. But yeah, like you said, in and out of treatment centers from when I was 20, uh, multiple detoxes, therapeutic communities, long-term treatment, crisis centers, homeless shelters, jail. I was facing 25 to life for a home invasion, robbery, felony battery, um, homelessness, panhandling. And on Christmas Eve 2015, I had my last overdose. And I woke up in the hospital on the 26th and left the hospital because I was dope sick. Got high one more time, and I went to detox that night. So my sober date is the 27th of December 2015. And yeah, I've been sober since. Thank the Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
So listeners are going to want to know what happened. Did it get lifted from you? Did you have spiritual experience then? How did you go from full on junkie commitment, this is my life, to like one day you're sober and you don't want to use?
So I got introduced to AA when I was 20, 21 or 22. And you know, my first AA meeting, it was like taking a freaking astro science physics, you know, I'm looking at all this and hearing all this stuff, and I just couldn't comprehend, or also I wasn't listening really. So, but the seed was planted, you know, and like I understood that people came here and got sober. So through the years, all the treatment centers trying to get sober, and I had a few years of abstinence. So like I went to meetings, and then I would stop going. I would go to one or two, you know, getting high, you know, I'd get high, go to the meeting. I would get sober, I would come out, you know, just in and out, in and out. And but after years, you know, 6 years of going in and out of meetings, the seed had taken root, you know? And I saw my older brother, who's sober as well, get sober through AA. And I knew a lot of other people that were sober, you know, 25, 30, 40 years. A lot of people that were family friends, people that I knew from the neighborhood. You know, I grew up in Queens, so it's the recovery community is heavy there. A lot of old Irish, Italian guys, you know, in these meetings. And this guy became my first sponsor, my buddy Tommy Mack. I grew up in my neighborhood, Irish guy. He's sober like 30 something years now. And my dad knew him for years and was like trying to get Tommy to help me. And Tommy was trying to help me, but I was in and out, and I would go to meetings with him. And then finally, when I got sober, or when I went to detox, I got into, you know, rehab, state-run facility in New York. It was terrible, but it was also, I was like so comfortable in there after being on the street shooting dope and coke, and like going into this place was like I was in heaven. You know, it was warm. I had food. There was movies. It was like I was fucking living in paradise. And he was like, "Listen, he's like, find your higher power, find God." And he would always say that to me. Go to meetings, So I was in there, and it was the beginning of June. I just came from detox. They brought me to this place. It was called Creedmoor. It was an insane asylum, but they had it was like a major compound in Queens, state-run facility, major psych ward, insane asylum. But on the property, they had a alcohol substance abuse center, and like 99% of the people there were mandated, by drug courts. But it was the only place I could get into. I didn't have insurance, or no one was about to pay cash for me to go to treatment. So I took what I could get. And I get there, it's like January 3rd or 4th, and one night it dumps like 6 feet of snow. And I remember looking out the window, and I was clean now for like 2 weeks. So I was feeling better. I was nice and warm. I had a hoodie on. I remember I had sweatpants on. It was like a Friday night. Christmas, had just passed. So like all the Christmas decorations were still up. And it was like movie night, Friday night. They gave us, Friday night they would let us do whatever, play cards, watch movies. And I remember, I was all warm, and I was staring out the window, watching the snow pile up. And I remember thinking like closing my eyes and being like, oh, thank you, God, And at that time, like saying that was just like something that I would say. I wasn't religious. I didn't know God the way I know him now. But like I remember saying that and being like, wait a minute. Like, actually, thank you, God. And I remember seeing the snow pile up and thinking like, all right, there's nowhere for me to go. Like, this is it. Like, and I remember saying like, I'm done, dude. I'm defeated. The weeks leading up to that, I'm not trying to like romanticize, but like I was robbing drug dealers because I had no money. And, I was using my physical abilities to get over on people, and the running and the copping, and outside in Queens, New York, the cops, freezing weather, I'm in the projects. Like, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was shooting so much coke that I was going into these crazy psychosis hours until I would pass out. I would shoot enough heroin to finally pass out. And then I would wake up and do it all over again. And I was so paranoid, and I thought these midget FBI agents were like following me. And
I hate the midget FBI guys. They're very smart and clever. They're very fast. And those fuckers get me every time.
Bro, I would be like, what the fuck? Like looking around, like any shadow I saw, I thought it was like a fucking cop or something. And, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I'm fucking going crazy. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll fucking go to meetings. At that point, I wanted to. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And not to mention, like, I had a career still. And so before I started really shooting dope, like I had already started my MMA career.
Oh, you started it then? When did you actually start it?
Yeah, I started fighting when I was 17.
Yeah.
So I started shooting dope when I was like 22 or 23, like real, like shooting heroin. Like I was shooting oxys and shit before that, but like really like copping dope and, doing the real was when I was like late 22 or 23. And, I did really well as an amateur. I was an amateur champion. Then I went pro when I was 22, and I would get these brief, few months or 6 months, a year of clean time where I was just abstinent, and I was using MMA and training as my way to stay sober. And I would fight and win. I would win, rack up a couple wins, and then I'd have shoulder surgery or something, I'd relapse. And then I would get clean again, I'd rack up a bunch of wins. And then another time I had a face surgery. I had a plate put in my face. I was in the head trauma unit for like 5-6 days, and they're pumping me with morphine and Dilaudid. So naturally, without a program, I came out, started shooting dope. And then I finally got sober. And within a year of getting sober and finding my higher power, going to meetings, doing the steps, I got signed to UFC. So I got sober. I had a big fight like 6 months after getting sober. I won. Then I had a fight shortly after that. And then basically a year later, I had a fight. Dana White was there. I was the main event. I won the fight. The guy eventually also got into UFC. And Dana signed me that night. So I got into UFC.
Wow. When Dana signed you that night, how long were you sober?
13 months.
13 months. And you were what, 25 then? 24? How old are you? 27 then. Okay, so let's keep going then.
What was that like for you? I just turned 28.
Magical moment for you, right?
Say that again?
Magical moment for you when he signed you.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, pretty fucking crazy. I was shooting heroin and coke. I was living in this fucking street, you know?
Right.
I was like doing crazy shit. I was getting arrested for home invasion robberies. I was getting arrested for, possessions and all sorts of crazy shit. I was homeless, panhandling.
Yeah.
And then within a year of that, I was fighting in the UFC at the highest level of MMA. So it was pretty.
Let's walk through your boxing journey a little bit. Then I'm gonna tie it into your sobriety and some amazing lessons about your fighting career and sobriety that I've learned about you.
All right.
Where do we go after that fight? After he signed you, what's next?
So I've been in the UFC for the last 8 years, and a lot of ups and downs. I eventually, a few years later, I got engaged to a girl that I've known since 6th grade, actually. My now wife, and she had, left me when I was shooting dope. It was the girl that got away. I got her back. We got married. We just had our first child 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah. Baby girl.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. The house I'm in, I own. I've owned. I had another house. I sold it, bought a bigger one. Have everything that I want and need. I got a dog I can take care of. And life's insane. But yeah, a lot of ups and downs, man. And, dealing with all sorts of other issues. Like once I was separated from the drugs and the alcohol, I started acting out in all these other ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll fucking walk into the casino and lose 10K. I'll judge every person that walks by me. I'll fucking watch porn. I'll go to rub and tug. I'll fucking flirt with girls to make sure I still got, I don't know why. I'll do all sorts of shit, man. Buy shit that I don't need and regret it because I think shiny shit's going to make me happy. I won't be there for my wife the way I should be. Selfish, or I'm working on it. I'll act out in any way you ask me to. I'm addicted to training. I'm addicted to food. I'm addicted to fucking The Sopranos. Look, Tony's on the wall. I'll watch The Sopranos 7,000 hours a week. I'll do anything in excess. And it's just as you know, my disease trying to take me down any way that it can. I think it realizes like, oh, this motherfucker, he stopped doing drugs and he's not going back. So how can we take this prick down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get him fucking in trouble somehow. And as an addict, I'll do anything in excess. So it's like I've gotten in trouble doing all sorts of things, even in my sobriety, you know?
Right. Yes, you have. and let talk to the listeners, buddy, and thank you for being so honest. That's the one thing that you're always straight, man. With all these different things, there's physical sobriety and of course emotional sobriety. You're talking about these other addictions and stuff. What are you learning? How are you combating that? How are you making peace with that? How are you staying absent in these other areas of your life?
So like, you know, I thought once I stopped getting high and drinking that everything was all right, you know, and that only lasts for so long, or unless you're like a single guy with no responsibilities. But even then, when you're doing those kinds of things, you'll get yourself in trouble. Even if you don't have to answer to a wife or a girlfriend or something or a significant other. So like, I've realized that nothing will give me fulfillment unless it's created out of true love and from God, or aligns with what God wants me to do on a daily basis and in all of my affairs. So, and like, you know, I used to always think like, why isn't this working out for me? Why did this happen? Da, 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 da. And then I would think like, F God, he hates me, or he's punishing me, or he's not real. Meanwhile, I know in the back of my head that without him, I would never have gotten sober and I would never be where I am today. But I easily forget that shit because I also think the devil's working to take me down in any way he can.
Darkness is very patient, and you're right. It's not going to come through the door of just you're going to shoot up again. It's going to come through these other avenues. But let me ask you this, brother. So what's your technique? You're jumpy, you're irritable, your body's fucked up, you know, and I'm going to make something up. And you want to go to the Gucci store and buy a new tracksuit that you don't need because you got 20 of them. What's your technique to not go to the Gucci store and buy a $5,000 tracksuit that you don't need?
Well, luckily, I have all these resources and I have a lot of people around me that have my best interests at heart. Sponsors, I got friends. My fucking wife will tell me right away, why the fuck are you going to buy that, you idiot? She's probably the first person that I can go to that will set me straight right away. You know? And
what a blessing that is, man.
I mean, the program, AA, NA, CA, SLAA, the fellowship in general, 12 steps, is a divine gift. God gave us that gift. And when you really start to understand it and listen to all those fucking corny sounding, you know, sayings that they have, you know, dial the numbers, don't file them. Make a meeting. Pray to
this
God.
This too shall pass, one day at a time. Keep coming back.
That shit is real.
Big time.
And it all fucking works. Like, there's so many things that I can do. If I'm feeling a certain way, sometimes, like the other day, I was kind of pissed off about something and I was like, I'm going for a run. And I fucking ran like 7 miles at like a retarded pace. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I feel so much better. Took a shower, ate some food, passed out. Or I'll jump on a meeting. We got these fucking computers. You could go on a meeting any time of day. Or you can walk into a meeting any time of day, basically. And this is the way I've stayed sober. And now that I've been in and out of SLA for like 3.5, 4 years. But I've really put it into practice. Thank God. I'll be sober off all my bottom lines for like 100 something days now, 104,
Wow.
105 days.
Jared, for the listeners who don't know, please explain what SLA is. Okay. Thank you.
So SLA is Sex, Love, Addiction Anonymous. And it is not just about sex. It's about people that struggle with a various amount of maladies. You could just be someone that fantasizes all day, someone that wants validation, someone that needs to be in a relationship, codependency, people that are addicted to sex, porn and masturbation, any kind of sexual problem. If you're in the rub and tug, if you're masturbating, if prostitutes, or if you just run through women, cheating on your wife. And it, to me, SLAA is step 6 and 7 through and through. Your character defects and your shortcomings. In the big book, page, step 6 and 7 is what, like 2 pages or something? The short, but it's the meat and potatoes of the program. And SLAA is like going to get your fucking PhD in AA. Or graduate school, man. And like, I'm so blown away by it. Because like, even though I was sober from drugs and alcohol, I always had this void to fill. And although AA gave me a daily reprieve from that feeling, I was still missing like a little bit. And now that I'm in SLAA, that hole has been filled a little more and it feels a lot better. Even though I know I'll never probably fill that hole inside of me completely, I can fill it enough every day to where that little bit of emptiness is not going to throw me off kilter. So without these programs, man, there's no way. People say, oh, I'd be in prison. I'd be fucking dead. There's no way that I would be in prison. Because the way I use and the way I'm like, I always think about Joe Pesci in Casino. When he's like, see, I don't give a fuck about jail. Because I'm fucking stupid. That's me. I don't give a fuck about the UFC. I don't give a fuck about my wife. I don't give a fuck about my baby. I don't give a fuck about all the shit I have. I'll go fuck everything up. Because I don't give a fuck. And I'm fucking stupid. But I am smart enough to recognize that I don't have to do that anymore. I used to do it every day. But now I know there's a better way to live. And even today, something happened. So like I was supposed to fight, like, week and a half ago. I get to Vegas. I fucking get an Airbnb for me, my whole team. I got like 6 guys with me. When I go to a fight, it's men. We're going to fight in a cage to make money. And I got to bring a whole team with me. My nutritionist, my coaches.
Expensive, very expensive.
Airbnb.
You're paying those costs.
Fucking car rental, plane tickets, all the money you got to spend while you're there. Whatever. I go, I fucking make weight. I cut 18 pounds in 4 days to make weight. Fight gets canceled. I'm like, the fuck? In order for me to get paid, I have to fight. I got to fight to get paid. So I'm thinking, what the fuck? Are they going to pay me my show money? So I speak to the matchmaker after and I'm like, yo, what's up? And he's like, yeah, we'll get you booked soon. I got to talk to Dana about what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm waiting. And after you fight, like win or lose, a day later, you get a wire to your bank. from Zuffa, which is the UFC, for however much money you make. Monday comes, nothing. Tuesday comes, nothing. I'm fucking pissed, bro. I'm thinking, fucking God hates me. This motherfucker, I'm praying to this motherfucker for 9 years. I'm being obedient. I don't fucking cheating on my wife. I'm not fucking jerking off in the fucking bathroom. I'm not going to the fucking rub and tug. I'm not fucking hurting anyone. I'm helping people. I'm doing everything I can here. I'm praying to you every day. My wife is the patient Christian Italian woman who cooks and cleans, owns 2 businesses, works her ass off, is an athlete also. And she's like, Jared, be patient. God got you no matter what. You'll be taken care of. And me, I'm like I said, I'm fucking stupid. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this. I'm fucking breaking. I'm fuck today. And then finally I was like, you know what? Like 2 days ago, I was like, I'm done. Whatever. It is what it is. I'll get through it. God, I love you. I'm sorry for turning my back on you. Today, I'm fucking going to get a cortado. Delray, it's fucking beautiful outside. I'm fucking enjoying the weather. All my windows are down. And I'm just thinking, talking to God. And I look down and I get a text message from the matchmaker of UFC. Hey, Jared, thank you for being so patient. You should get a wire today for your show money. We're going to get you booked right away. We're looking for a fight for you. I'm like, thank you so much. You don't know what this means to me. Blah, blah, blah. And I turned my back on him again, God, knowing that he's always fucking brought me through, no matter what.
Why do you do that, man? When there's overwhelming empirical data, God always has your back, brother. Why do you do that?
I think I'm still that 8-year-old kid at times that got fucking sexually assaulted.
Yes.
I've got trust issues.
Yeah. I love you, man.
I get punched in my head for a living. I get angry. I'm so eager and wanting and able to, I want to support my family. I want to be able to pay our mortgage, pay our bills, bring us on vacation, pay for my baby. I got a newborn. I got a 6-year-old little thing it can't do anything without us. And all I want to do is care for them and not let them. Well, my wife's been through her own shit, but my baby, I want to give her everything I can to make her not have to go through the shit that I went through. And so I'm just like, I need to get money in order to support them. And that's like how, meanwhile, I know money, like now that I got the wire, I'm like, I feel the same. It's like when I bought this $100,000 car. It was the fucking dumbest thing I ever did in my life. I bought this car that I loved my whole life. It was an Audi RS5. I bought it brand new. My wife, I showed up with the car. My wife's like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? I'm like, oh, I got it. It's all good. That car was a fucking burden on my life. Every day I would walk outside and every time I filled it up, I was like, $90, you motherfucker. Every time I paid the fucking payment and the car insurance, I was like, why did I do this to myself? Even though I loved the car and it was fucking fun and beautiful, it was a burden on my life. It was the last thing I needed. And then I realized, I bought a Rolex. I've done all sorts of stupid shit. Nice things, fucking $2,000, all sorts of dumb shit, shoes, this, that. And I'm like, why did I do this? I could have fucking done something else way more worth it. And then the shiny shit doesn't do nothing for me. And God and helping others, being of service, being there for my family, the love that I get from my family, my parents, thank God for my parents. Without them, I'd be fucking gone. My brothers, my mother-in-law, my sisters and brother-in-law. That's all that matters. And obviously my sobriety number.
Yeah.
After God, my sobriety, and then everyone else. And that's all that ever gives me lasting fulfillment. I'll buy something nice. It's like buying a new pair of sneakers. You're like, oh, look at my fucking shoes. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, fuck these shoes. I need a new pair. They're all scuffed up, you know? And and today that I was punching my steering wheel when I got that text message. Thank you, God. I'm sorry for fucking being an asshole always. And I think he's like, it's all right. Like, I could see him, like, he's like, I know who you are and what you are. So it's okay. And that's the best part about Jesus, God is what I call him, is that I know he's always going to forgive me and always love me. And as long as I'm true to him and being obedient. So I said something in your meeting that day where I realized God's not punishing me. He doesn't want
too busy to be punished. Yeah.
He doesn't hurting me. He's always there. It's me blocking my own blessings. And right, I truly believe that that's what it is. When I do something stupid that I shouldn't be doing, or if I'm unfaithful somehow, or if I'm fucking being an asshole to someone, I feel like there's like a little darkness comes in and it blocks the light from coming through, man. And I've realized that, like, it's me. I saw a meme today. It said, if I gave you $1 million, but your worst enemy would also get $2 million, would you be okay with that? And the person said, why would I turn down $3 million? So that's me, bro.
Yeah, I get it. Never. I think you'll appreciate this. It really kind of hit me.
I'm my own worst enemy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully your journey will be your best friend to yourself, because that's the most important thing. You'll get there. I know you will, actually. You know, I was speaking to, forgive the name drop, Robert Downey was mentioning this, and he was at the Grammys and he was talking to some friends, and he said, do you know what I have that nobody else has here? And they're all going, oh, you know, the $100 million house, the jet, the perfect family, you know, go through the list. Just one can imagine. He goes, no, you know what I have? I have enough.
I would love to meet him.
He's the best. He's the fucking, Robert's the best. I have enough. And that's a gift to know that you have enough. But, you know, and let me move. You talked about patience, and my God, brother, in your business, the injuries, you've had a bullshit call on a fight that you clearly won. You had the concussion episode before the fight. This last thing in the last minute, it got called off. And, you know, it really, let's talk about patience. And you talked about it a little bit, and you've not gone out over the stuff. It's tough stuff. How do you hang in there? How do you keep the faith going, man?
Honestly, I think God is waiting for me to be ready to take on all the things that would come if some of those things went my way. I think he's waiting for me. So the thing with Patty happened. I clearly won that fight and they gave it to him. And before that or after that was the headbutt. And then I won in Madison Square Garden in my hometown, which was fucking amazing. And then I fought in Saudi Arabia, clearly won the fight, and they gave it to some Arab kid. And I was like, "You fucking serious? Again?" And I was going to lose it. Whatever, I dealt with that pretty well. And then this thing happened. But I got into SLAA in November is when I really gave myself to the program. So I fought that kid in Saudi Arabia in June of last year. But I was still fucking around after that.
Wow.
Cold, being a fucking devious prick, the rub and tug.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this thing sucked, this last one, not fighting. All I did was make weight and I got a substantial amount of money. So that was like best case scenario. Like, it was like the only thing that sucks is that I didn't fight and win.
Right.
So I think he's setting me up for something bigger. And now that I'm stopping myself from blocking those blessings. I think he's like, all right, you're ready, or maybe you're almost ready for what you want.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Just remember, let me tell you something, Seano. Anytime I would go out there to fight, in the back of my head, I knew that I was doing some dirty shit still.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it doesn't matter how fucking prepared you are, man. When you're fucking guilty.
When that fuck is on you, it's on and it won't go away no matter what. I love you for talking about this. Thank you, man.
When you know that maybe there's some karma coming your way, it's really hard to be confident and go out there and say, I'm going to fuck this guy. I deserve this shit. I'm going to fuck this guy up. Even if you know you're better. That's why I think I was going out there fighting these fights, winning, and still losing.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. That's so beautiful, man.
I would be like, how, like, I don't understand. Like, I won the fight. Why is the other guy's hand in the air? And it's because I knew it. It's because I was being a fuck up. I was being a dick. And
wow. That's a great lesson for
I
folks.
freed myself of that. And it's the best feeling I've ever given myself, knowing that, thank God my wife's a Christian, because she forgave me and is working through this with me. But now I know I'm not being a piece of shit to my wife.
Buddy, I hope you give yourself the gift of your next fight, and I can't wait to watch it, of being
I should know sooner.
Being completely clean. And I want to see this version of you where there's not a speck of funk on you, man.
Exactly. That's the thing, bro. I might look shiny and nice, but somewhere there was a black fucking hole in me,
Yeah, I get it. But walk the listeners through, because it's a scene I hope to see in the movie someday. A lot of people don't know Madison Square Garden. Underneath it, there's a whole another world going on there, right? They don't know that. You know that.
Fucking zombie land down there.
It's crazy, man. And you were shooting up dope. You're out of your fucking mind. You're on the nod. You're panhandling. You're doing all your crazy shit. And then you end up fucking fighting at MSG.
Yeah, so it's nuts. I have major history there. So I was born in Manhattan, not far, like 30 blocks from MSG. My older brother was born there too. My grandparents grew up in Harlem, which is, northern Manhattan. MSG is like Midtown Manhattan. And I was raised in Queens, and I would take the subway into Manhattan every day and train at Henzo Gracie's, which is 3 blocks from MSG. So I would get out of the train at Penn Station or down the block, and I would walk past MSG with my bag on to go to the gym, and I would see it every day and think, I'm going to fight there one day. And through my years of going in and out of that gym, fucking 9-10 years, whatever it was, I was getting high. And I would take the subway, and I would fucking be so sick or whatever that I couldn't even get out of the subway. I would go into a bathroom stall in the subway in Penn Station, which is underneath MSG, fucking shoot dope. All of those restaurants, the pizzerias,
yeah, all the shitty pizza places, yeah.
Fresh and Co. There was a coffee spot, Japanese. I used to go to there's a Korean restaurant. I used to go to all of them, and fucking go in there and buy a soda or something. Hey, can I use the bathroom? And fucking go in there and shoot up. And I was getting high in Henzo. That was my stomping grounds. And then yeah, man, my grandfather fought at MSG also 3 times.
Wow.
He was a pro boxer. And yeah, so I get to fight a guy there. He was a silver medal Olympic champion from Denmark. I knocked him out in the first round. And it was fucking unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable. So insane.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
The shit we get to do in sobriety is extraordinary, right, man?
I can't, who knows what's to come? That's the best part
it's going to
about
be, as long as we get the fuck out of the way.
Exactly. Get out of your own way.
Get out of the way. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about your wife. She's amazing. But I want to our listeners, they're like, wait, how did they get back together? How did she end up trusting you? How did you get the trust back?
Well,
I know we're still working on it, but yeah.
So yeah, I've known my wife since first grade. We met each other when we were 6 years old, which is insane. So yeah, I've known my wife for 30 years already. I'm 36, so pretty fucking crazy. And so my dad's, just real quick, when I was Father's Day 2001, right before 9/11, my father's business exploded in Long Island City, Queens, and killed 3 FDNY guys and injured like 60 other firefighters and NYPD officers. Yeah, on Father's Day. It was called the Father's Day Fire. It was the deadliest fire in New York City since 1969. And then fucking 9/11 happened and obviously swept that under the rug. But when that happened, we were living in Long Island in Nassau County in like a really nice neighborhood. And we had to be closer to the business, and it was fucking really expensive where we were living. So we moved to Queens. So I had moved to Queens. The year before that, my wife's father died in a plane crash. His own jet. He was flying his own plane and it crashed. And unfortunately, him and another man were killed. Shortly after that, she moved to Florida, to Boynton Beach, and she went to school here. So I moved to Queens. We both turned 18. High school's over. She's going back to Rutgers in New Jersey for gymnastics. She was a D1 athlete. And I saw her at a house party at an old friend's house that we went to school with. And I was like, oh shit, Christina, what's up? And I wasn't drinking because I was getting ready for a fight. We were at like a house party. Everyone's getting high and drinking. And we hit it off. We were 18. She was a gymnast. I was a fighter. We always liked each other, even when we were kids. And we started dating. We fell in love. And we were together for about 4 or 5 years. She moved from Jersey to Manhattan. I was living in Queens still. We dated the whole time. But my addiction got out of control. I was just fucking getting high, shooting. I started, oxys, the whole thing. And she left me. And at the same time, her best friend, Victoria, who we're still really close with, my best friend Paul, they were dating. So we were all like, we were a whole crew. And he died of an overdose when I was like 21. Unfortunately, and I still blame myself on drugs that I gave him to sell. And he ended up overdosing. So when that happened, I decided I got to get sober. I got sober. I had my first pro fight. I won in the first round by knockout or submission or something. She saw that I was sober. We got back together. And then I ended up relapsing. So we were on and off, me and her. Finally, so she left me now for like 5 years. We never spoke a word the whole time. And I got sober. Got into UFC, got my life together. And one day I text her, "Hey, Christina, how are you?" And she's like, "Jared, how did you know?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "I've had your number blocked for like 5 years. And this morning I decided to unblock you." And that was the first
Oh,
time that I tried texting her in fucking who knows how long.
oh, fuck. I love that. God damn, that's good, man.
I was like, I don't know, something just said to text you. And she was like, "So listen, I'll talk to you. I know you're doing well. I see you're fucking fighting on TV. You're in the UFC now. Congratulations. Your dream has come true." 'Cause, I was an amateur fighter when we started dating. And that was always, I used to make her watch UFC with me. And I used to say, "I'm going to be in the UFC one day. I'm going to be champion, whatever." And she was like, "Listen, I'll talk to you, but the only thing we're going to talk about is God." She had went and found God on her own through her own experiences. She's not an addict. She never fucking was. I mean, she's, drank and smoked weed and partied a little, but she was never an addict. And I said, "All right,
And how did that land on you when she said, we're gonna rap God?
that's fine because I found God too." And, through AA. So that's how it started. And, we were always in love with each other. So eventually, 3 months later, we were engaged.
Oh, wow.
And then we got married COVID happened, so that fucking delayed our wedding. And then we got married uh October 29th, 2001.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember that, man. I want to get your ass kicked tonight. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, yeah.
So because of God, we were able to reconnect. And my wife's a fucking G, dude. She owns 2 businesses. She's owned one company for 10 years. It's the biggest custom gymnastics music and choreography company in the country. And she also owns a ninja warrior gym here in Boca Raton. It's like an 8,000 square foot gym, massive, obstacle course gym. She was on the show American Ninja Warrior 4 times. I was
Wow.
actually on the show with her. I did terrible. Um, but yeah, she's been an athlete her whole life. D1, gymnast. She did gymnastics her whole life. She was on American Ninja Warrior, and she's a freaking whiz. All she does is innovate and work and make her gym better, make her businesses better. And without her, I would be fucking fucked. I would. She built my website. She could build web. She could do everything. And she's an amazing mother. She's a Christian. She can cook. She's Italian. She can fucking cook anything you want. Um,
You're
I don't
proud
know.
of her.
I don't know what she's doing with me,
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
how about she knows what a winner is?
yeah, I
How
know.
about the fact she probably saw your true essence and she fell in love with that?
Yeah, I'm grateful and lucky to have her. I fucking love her so much, and to think that I would ever have to go outside the marriage is beyond me at this point. And that was just the devil, man. Like lust and the lust of flesh and then realizing when those things were over or when I got done doing those things, like that it was never worth it at all. And then to get caught and get in trouble was like beyond me. Even when I didn't get caught, it was never fucking worth it. I could have fucking jerked off in the bathroom and it would have been the same fucking thing. Um, but I gotta stop doing that too. So
You gotta stop doing that too. You know what it sounds like, and this is a kind of a nice place for people in recovery that come from our type of backgrounds. We're the guys that rules don't apply. We're special. We like to cut in line. You get to the place where you just realize there's just no more shortcuts. I'm going to play it straight.
That's
I'm
it.
going to play it straight in all my affairs. I just want to play it straight. I just don't want to.
It doesn't feel good anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I used to not give a fuck. I would do
I
anything
know.
to get over on you.
You're right. Yeah.
Now I have this fucking conscience that eats me alive, which is a
Yeah.
great thing. It's a great thing.
And you have an ethical, I believe, anyways, an ethical spiritual responsibility to your little child to be at your highest frequency. And I hope you get the gift one of the things I'm most proud of, buddy, is my son, Dylan Luke McFarland, and he's 21, has never seen me high, never seen me drunk. And I never want that to change.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through a couple things and then we can wrap up. Why is resentment the number one offender?
It's like setting yourself on fire and like hoping the guy that you hate dies from smoking inhalation. Um, it just eats you up, man. No matter what. If you don't let it go and free yourself of it, it will come back to haunt you one way or the other, no matter what. At least for me. Some people, I don't know, but for me, that's how it works.
And a lot of listeners are going to be interested in, like, Jared, congratulations on your sobriety. Congratulations on all your success, your baby, your beautiful wife and everything. How did you heal from the sexual assault? How did you make peace with that? Did you forgive that person? Are you at peace with that? Are you still haunted by that? What was your process with that, if you don't mind talking about that?
So for me, yeah, I mean, what I've learned and what I expect is the case for the person that did this to me was that they were also sexually assaulted, and that they so the person was also like a teenager when it happened to me, below 17. So like he was also a kid, so obviously I know that this person is in a terrible state. So he has been haunted his whole life and is killing himself slowly. So, yeah, I forgave him and I forgave myself. And being able to help others through my experience is my gift. So now it's almost like my responsibility. Like God put this on me so I can save others. And although what happened to me was terrible, I wouldn't change it now because of how many people I've helped and what I'll continue to do. So I'm at peace with it. And I've done a ton of therapy and all sorts of, the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Work.
Yeah, you put the light on it.
Put the work in, man. So
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And then let's stay with that great thing, buddy. Why is service so important to break free, to be the change agent in the world that you want to be?
Well, obviously you want to help others and continue to spread the message to other people that suffer. But more importantly, is to help myself. When I help others, I get this fulfillment and this peace that I know comes from God that makes my day better and keeps me from going back to doing what I used to do. So
Beautiful,
now,
man.
obviously, we all know that not only am I helping other people, but I'm helping myself. And that, to me, is what's important.
You remind me so much. It's really a nice saying of my, people know that I'm most famous for treating Mike Tyson for 18 years. And why you remind me you're obviously a tough guy and you can take care of business, but you understand the importance of saying I'm scared and I need help. Can you talk about that theme?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to get to that point. And then I realized I don't have all the answers. And I know when I've asked for help before and got help and gotten better, that could happen again for other problems and if for other instances. So that's one of those first steps that you'll take for anyone that's listening and suffering, is that can't do it on your own. Obviously, whatever you're doing is clearly not working. Mm-hmm. So that was also the biggest thing, was I realized everything I've done, and I've tried a lot, and I've tried many different ways to help myself, and it never worked. And then finally, once I gave up and gave the steering wheel to someone else, God first, and then professionals, my life got better.
Right. So why don't we end this, buddy? What do you want to say to the folks out there that are struggling, that are relapsing, that are having a hard time getting the momentum, that are in deep depression, which I know you've been in sobriety, that are thinking about, maybe I don't want to be on this planet anymore? What's your message to them?
No matter how far down and out you think you are, there's always a way out, and there's always someone that has it way worse than you. Mm-hmm. If you're still breathing and you can still walk and talk and hear and see, then you have the ability to get your life together. I've seen people go from 0 to hero, and find your higher power and get help. Ask a professional, go to a meeting. You just got to put a little smidgen of work in. That's all it takes at first. Just a little effort, a little honesty, be honest, and don't be scared to reach out for professional help. If you need detox, if you need a hospital or a treatment center, go and clear your mind of the fog. That was for me, that was once I was separated from the drugs and the alcohol and I was able to think clearly, then the choices that I made were easier and more identifiable. The good choices. So it's never too late. Find your God, find your higher power, and get help. And then once you do that, continue to help others and keep working the program, because we only get a daily reprieve from this. Without doing something daily, you're liable to fall off the road.
Beautiful, buddy. Thank you for making time. I know it's later there. This has been an incredible blessing. I got mad love for you. I can't wait to see your next fight.
It's coming.
And next time you want to buy a $100,000 car, call your buddy Seano. I might help you out first. Give me a shout. The Gucci suit's cool. Call me about the Audi though, will you?
I got it.
And would you do me a favor? Will you give your wife a big hug for me and tell her I love you guys and I'm so proud of what you guys are doing together?
I will. I appreciate
that means the world to me. All right, Godspeed, brother. Thank you. The Seano Show is a production of iHeart Podcasts, hosted by me, Seano McFarland, produced by Pod People and 28th Ave. Our lead producer is Keith Kornelek. Our executive producer is Lindsay Hoffman. Marketing lead is Ashley Weaver. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.